Comedies are a beloved genre in film. They might not always get the respect they deserve, but no one can argue that sometimes you just want to sit back, throw on a funny movie, and forget all of life's troubles, like your rent, ongoing wars, or seeing your landlord dragging that heavy duffel bag to the trunk of his car at 4 in the morning. But not every comedy started that way. It's no secret that movies from inception to release go through lots of changes, but rarely do they change genres, and especially not as drastically as the movies in this list. I'm Nick from Hot Culture, and here are 3 comedies that weren't originally supposed to be comedies. Number 3, The Mask. In the 90s, Jim Carrey took Hollywood by storm, starring in some of the most successful comedy movies in that decade, and any decade really. Carrey never shied away from the fact that he wanted to do drama, taking on several more serious leading man roles later in his career. But he almost got into drama a little earlier in his career with 1994's The Mask. I know, it's hard to picture The Mask as anything other than a wacky comedy, but the original script was not just a drama, but an intensely dark drama. Stanley Ipkiss, played by Carrey, is a shy introvert who knows that he has a lot more to offer. Then he stumbles upon a mask that gives him magical powers and allows the extrovert in him to shine. So far so good, right? This concept in the original script, however, was not played up for laughs. It was supposed to illustrate the duality of man, how we all wear masks, and a bunch of that kind of crap. The catalyst for turning this whopping 200-page drama on the human condition into a comedy came from the inevitable NC-17 rating it would receive if they made the movie as it was. The original plot had Stanley Ipkiss becoming a human trafficker. The studio finally stepped in when they realized how absolutely insane it was to have this be Jim Carrey's follow-up to Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. And the darkest part of the script came at the end. After choosing the mask, and subsequently human trafficking, and ultimately losing the last shred of who he was, Ipkiss sits as a broken man, putting the mask on one more time, then as tears run down his neon green face, he weeps, "Somebody stop me." Just chilling. Before we get to the rest of the list, on a scale from 1 to 10, how much are you against human trafficking? Let us know in the comments below. Number 2, The 40-Year-Old Virgin. The 40-Year-Old Virgin solidified Judd Apatow as a comedy directing phenom and showed that Steve Carell could carry a movie, which led to his iconic run on the US Office. So it's crazy to think that The 40-Year-Old Virgin was supposed to be a part of the Silence of the Lambs universe. Originally titled The Virgin, it was about a sexually repressed sociopath who stalked, tormented, and eventually murdered those who he deemed to be promiscuous. Clarice Starling, once again with the help of Hannibal Lecter, tries tracking down this depraved killer. When Julianne Moore, Jodie Foster, and Anthony Hopkins passed, the script sat in someone's desk for several years. But since Hollywood is creatively bankrupt and pretty much just recycles whatever is laying around, it wouldn't stay in a desk for very long. One ballsy studio exec had an idea. With a little help from a lot of cocaine, he transformed this twisted serial killer drama into the beloved heartfelt comedy we know today. When interviewed about it later, Steve Carell said, "Wait, what? This was supposed to be a Silence of the Lambs movie? That's up. Up all the way to the bank, Steve." Before we get to number 1, let yourself be one with Christ by pressing that like and subscribe button. Number 1, Austin Powers. This one is a little different than the other two. Whereas those were movies with a complete tonal shift from the original script, Austin Powers, which was a spoof of a James Bond movie, was actually originally a James Bond script. Seriously. And I don't mean Austin Powers was based on a James Bond script and they turned it into a comedy. I mean the original James Bond script was word for word what we see in Austin Powers. The only thing they changed was the name James Bond to Austin Powers. Literally every other thing in this movie stayed the exact same. All of the dialogue, all of the scenes. James Bond actually faced off against a villain named Dr. Evil. They just highlighted James Bond in the script, hit replace all, and typed Austin Powers. In a leaked script, you can see places where there was a typo in Bond's name, and therefore it didn't get replaced properly. These relics are evidence that we almost got a pretty silly Bond flick. Stay in your lane, Bond. Leave the comedy to the creator of The Love Guru. That's it for our list today. I'm Nick from Hot Culture, and we'll see you next time.